Hey guys, Chris and PJ here live in the Dream Giveaway Garage.
Happy Tuesday, sir.
Today is a very special Tuesday, PJ.
Why is today a special
Because
Tuesday?
legend in the Mopar community and a legend in drag racing has a birthday today. And so we're going to start today's show with a happy birthday to Big Daddy, Don Garlits. Don, happy birthday to you. 93 years old. He looks like he's 70, doesn't he?
He does. And we got a special promo code right there for
Special
3X.
promo code. You guys can use the 3X code. And please, let's all comment. Let's all wish Big Daddy Don Garlits a happy birthday today. Almost 100 years.
Yeah.
That's a long time on the planet, and it's also a really long time that he's been racing cars, and he's got no sign of slowing down.
Has he always been in kind of Dodge products?
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, remember when Don was here, he told us a story of having like a 47 or a 48 Ford, but as soon as that Hemi engine came out in the early 60s, he got one. He started building all those drag racers, all the swamp rats, he called them, and still calls them. And man, he's been with Chrysler and Dodge and Plymouth ever since. So that's why we don't have a birthday cake for you, Don, but we've got two really cool looking Mopars that kind of bring back some memories from how old would Don have been in 1969 and 1970 if he's 93 today? He'd been in his 30s, right?
Yeah.
So in his 30s. And what a cool pairing. In fact, and we'll announce it now, next month, Big Daddy Don Garlits will be here in the Dream Giveaway Garage, and he'll be checking out these vehicles, doing some videos with them, some photography. And if you're the winner of these, they might even be autographed for you. I can't confirm that yet, but I'm pretty sure.
Alan wants to know what our Florida temp is today. You look kind of cold over there.
Yeah, it's 6 below Florida weather today. PJ just checked before we went live.
We were just talking about how chilly it is in here.
Right. So think of all the amazing things that Don Garlits has done in his life. You've got to remember, he's the inventor of the... Hold on, let me make sure I've got this correct now. They were racing the front dragster. Now I got it backwards, don't I? Remember, he had that accident in 1970, and they had to change the location of the engine on those dragsters, and that became the norm for the last 60 years, right?
Kathy said in 1970 he would have been 55.
No, that's not right.
Yeah, that seems like it.
No, that doesn't, maybe 45? Double check that, Kathy, if you don't mind. 17-time world champion, Big Daddy Don Garlits. Some people commented yesterday about what was the horsepower on that 396 and a 65 Corvette. It is correct that it came out at 425 horsepower. However, I have read numerous times that it was supposed to come out at 450, and at the last moment, they downgraded the rated horsepower. They probably didn't do anything to the engine, or the published horsepower to 425. And it is essentially the same engine in that Camaro over there, but I'm not going to be talking about Camaros today because it's Big Daddy Don Garlits' birthday, and we're just so happy that he is a great partner of Dream Giveaway, has been for years, has worked with us on many, many projects, from Plum Crazies. He'll be working on these Skittles to, if you guys remember, that 69.5 Charger that we gave away. He helped us out on that. He's helped us out on various Hellcats. And he's taken our vehicles, like that Demon that we gave away last year. He's taken it down the strip at the Gator Nationals just to get some good publicity out there for Dream Giveaway and help the charities involved. Amazing, amazing man who has done so many things. We could go on for hours and hours. I'm just going to say happy birthday, Don.
Yeah, and I've seen him in Gainesville, and every fan walks up to him, and he takes time for every single one of his fans. He's amazing.
Right.
38, by the way.
38. Okay, that makes more, yeah. So I said 30, so I guess I was right there. Kathy, put a new battery in your calculator if you don't mind.
So would he have worked on something like this? Or would he have
Oh,
driven these?
absolutely. So Dodge, more Dodge. Dodge would have given, because he was sponsored by Dodge, Dodge would have given him what we know as bodies in white. They'd give him cars without the engines, and then he would build, they'd send him Hemi engines separately. He would build those Hemi engines, and he'd put them in his cars.
Matt Mills is giving us a high five here, waving.
Yeah.
Hopefully his vehicle's on his way.
And I got to tell you, and I won't tell you the year, but Don still drives Dodge products. We watch what he pulls up in when he shows up at the Dream Giveaway garage. And even his personal ride has a little bit of horsepower in it.
Yeah, he's kind of like from the Ocala area. He's about an hour, 2 hours away, right, from where we are.
Yeah.
He still drives down here and meets us up here in the garage.
And we should point that out. You know, the Museum of Drag Racing, Don put that together. He bought the land, he built the buildings, he contacted everybody who were his colleagues in drag racing. They said, what do you have? What do you have that we can put in the museum? And he hand-picked everything that's in that museum. And if you have not been there, you have to. You see it when you drive up and down I-75 between Gainesville and Tampa. And there are just room after room of incredible vehicles, a history of drag racing there right in front of you. So we have Don personally to thank for that museum. There is a small admission charge, but it is well worth it. So please don't just drive by. Tell whoever you're with, we've got to stop and see the museum. We've got to stop and see the Garlits Museum. It is just one of the best automotive museums in the entire country.
Which one is he going to like more, Chris? Do you think the Cuda or the Roadrunner?
My guess is he's going to like the Roadrunner more because Don's a big block Mopar guy, right? And I get it, that's not a Hemi, a Roadrunner. But I think he likes, you know, Don believes there's no replacement for displacement.
And it could be the color.
Could be the color. That's a great color as well.
I love that color. It's good
So,
stuff.
once again, happy birthday, Don. You guys wish him happy birthday as well. What else do we got going on in the Dream Giveaway garage?
I think you talked to a winner today.
I talked to the winner. We're confirming the Corvette award ceremony, the 2 Rapid Blue Corvettes. That will be January 31st. That's a Friday. That'll be at noon. I'm already warming up the windmills.
Don't cool it down here too much. Right?
Yeah, so we're ready to go on that. And that's going to be exciting. And I know I said I'm not going to talk about anything about Mopar, but I have to remind you guys that there's, 9 days left to enter to win the 2 Shelbys.
Right. Centennial edition, so.
Correct. Carol would have been 102. So Carol was definitely older than Don.
But not by much.
9 years.
Alan wants to know who was Don's main competitor back in the day. There was like Coletta and all the other guys.
And Perdome and Downey, and right?
Yeah.
You guys know. Didn't he have your little Hot Wheels back in the day? had all those toys. Or if you're older than that, maybe you had a chance to actually see Don Garlits back when he was competing in the various drag racing series like NHRA.
Front engine dragsters. I mean, it's crazy to think of the engine can blow up parts.
That's it. Face. So they had the front engine, and then after the accident in 1970, he said, we got to put the engine behind the person, right? So now I'm visualizing it. That's correct. The engine is behind the driver. That's all because of Don. Don came up with the whole thing, and it is now the industry standard. No one would ever think of putting an engine in front of the driver, the racer, in a dragster anymore. It just
now we do in these kind of cars, except for some
that's different.
Special ones like the Porsche and
that's right. Indeed.
The GT.
Let's look at these engines again. 340 6-barrel right here. That engine block painted Hemi orange. 290 horsepower. Larry reminded me on that yesterday. I was going to tell you guys a story. If you think about Trans Am Racing Series, and we're going to talk about the Z28 a little bit. The Z28 had a 302 cubic inch displacement. That's because Trans Am series had a maximum cubic inch displacement of 305. So in 1970, they moved that to 350 cubic inches. That's why the Z28 moved to a Chevy 350 in 1970. But what does that have to do with the 340 here? Well, 340 is less than 350. So Plymouth was no longer limited to a 305 cubic inch limit to get into the Trans Am Racing Series, and the 346 barrel is what did the trick.
It's kind of like you go under. So these racing classes really had more to do with what's going on in these vehicles than anything, right?
Right, because to have parity on the track, they needed to have a maximum displacement. You couldn't have one guy there with a 302 engine, another guy there with a 454 engine. It just wouldn't be a fair contest. So the Trans Am series set a cubic inch limit. But again, they were probably motivated by relationships with the big three in Detroit to move that from 305 to 350 in 1970.
And then the general public gets whatever's left over.
The general public gets what they put out on the street. So they have to make so many of these vehicles, and I don't know what the number is, in order to be approved for the racing series. For NASCAR, it was 500 vehicles. But for a Trans Am series, it might have been 2,000. Somebody look that up and give me the number if you know it. And once they produce that number of vehicles for public sale, public retail sale, then that vehicle was eligible to compete in that series. Does that make sense?
Seems like an awfully low number, 500 cars.
Well, that was for NASCAR. I think for Trans Am series, it was much higher, maybe a couple thousand. And I think, so remember, they made these as both the Challenger TA, right? Challenger Trans Am package, and they made it as a Plymouth Barracuda. They're very similar to each other.
Good deal.
Yeah, almost the same. Almost. All right, back over here to the 440 real quick. You can see that the liftoff hood has lifted off.
Ronald says, don't step on that hood.
I'm not going to step on that hood, I promise. And here, another Hemi orange, this time a big block with that Hemi orange air filter right there. Who pointed out yesterday that I was correct, that this is a drain plug for water? I think Larry did that as well. Larry, you're 2 for 2. Great stuff there. And if you look here, there's actually 2 drain plugs. There's one here and
there's actually one over here as well.
One there? Okay. Yep, to keep that bathtub from filling up with water, because if there's one thing you don't want is water.
Well, you'd want water in your own bathtub.
You want it in your own bathtub. You don't want it in this bathtub. You don't want water getting down into the intake and screwing things up.
Roger says 2-man operation hood. And
it is.
Absolutely.
It is, but only because of the bulk. It's not the weight.
It's very lightweight.
It's a very lightweight hood. And if you had someone with a longer wingspan than me, they could probably pick this hood up by themselves and put it on. And I've certainly seen guys do that, but it's much easier as a 2-man job.
All 4 pins.
And we got to show the horn again.
Yeah.
And while we're showing the horn, I'm going to show you that it works. Ready?
Very good.
I miss that. You know, why doesn't Dodge come out with, and I get it, Plymouth is gone. Why doesn't Dodge come out with a Cuda again and a Roadrunner again? Would be cool. You never know. We'll have to wait and see on that. Any questions for me today before we wrap it up on this 6 Below Tuesday?
Kathy says, so far there's been 3 requests to keep the stickers on the windshield, so we'll do that.
I think we're going to keep the stickers on there. And listen, if the winner wants to take them off, that's up to the winner. And speaking of winners, we're looking forward to the winner from the great state of Illinois being here on January 31st to pick up the 2 blue Corvettes. I wish he'd drive one home, but you probably don't want to drive back to Chicago in January in a Corvette, right?
No.
Yeah. And unless you have the E-Ray, the first all-wheel drive Corvette. We're giving that away in our Road and Track Dream giveaway. Guys, it's been fun. Once again, happy birthday, Big Daddy Don Garlits, 93. Wow. He's an amazing guy. We'll see you guys tomorrow. More great fun, more great action, more great grand prizes. It only happens here live in our favorite place on earth, the Dream Giveaway Garage.
See you next time, everyone.